racism, sexism, homophobia. When I say these words, a lot can happen at once. A flashback to an experience with one of them, or your city's most recent equality parade. But when I say ableism, oftentimes many people don't know what that is, and this is a huge problem. Ableism is the discrimination of people with intellectual or developmental disabilities, IDD. Someone with IDD can be in a wheelchair, have autism, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, vision or hearing loss, and so much more. We as a society minimize ableism as lesser of a problem. That's why you've probably never heard of it. We look at African Americans, women, and homosexuals and think they are no lesser of people, and they deserve equal rights, pay, and respect. Any violation of that is discrimination, and it won't be tolerated. Now, all of this is true, 100%. But when it comes to someone with a disability, without even giving a second thought to it, we simultaneously think that because they can't perform a certain action or do a certain job, that these basic and fundamental rules of equality do not apply to them, when in reality, they should. We see non-intentional ableism all around us, every day. Pushing someone in a wheelchair without their permission because you think that you're helping them. A building not having accessible facilities. Saying the R word, retard or retarded, even in a joke. These are all examples of non-intentional ableism. However, there is a more severe type of ableism known as intentional ableism. And truth be told, as upsetting and degrading as intentional ableism can be, it often starts in the most minuscule place as the average middle school. We catch middle school students using the words mental, autistic, the R word, and many other degrading terms, even in jokes. And for every child using that vocabulary, there's a disabled kid hurt. The problem is, many parents, teachers, and students think that because there is no physical violence going on, or the words were said in a joking manner, that the problem isn't that real, when in reality, it hurts just as much as physical violence. From my experience, middle school is the developing stage in which students begin to become ableists. I have been a part of Best Buddies, a nonprofit international organization focused on ending ableism for almost 2 years now. When the organization came to my middle school, not many people joined, but thankfully I did. In a short time of being there, it completely transformed me. I was making new friends, having a more optimistic view on life, and I could see that our students with disabilities were benefiting too. They would walk the halls proud and confident of who they were because they knew that a strong and supportive group of people had their back. Once a month Wednesday meetings seemed to make me and others better people. This organization taught me a lot about equality and an issue that I had no idea existed. But I later found out that it had existed for a very long time. From the days of the Soviet Union to the times of the Holocaust, ableism has seemed to make its way around the world. But now more than ever, it's not just a problem, it's an epidemic, with ableism getting to young students across the globe. Yes, some students are ignorant. They use upsetting ableist vocabulary. But the problem is, the approach that we often take, just telling them to stop or cut it out, often makes matters worse. So last year in Best Buddies, in my chapter, when we were having our third or fourth meeting, we were focusing in on how much students use degrading ableist vocabulary, but we were focusing in on one word, the R word. And so we decided to take place in the annual Spread the Word to End the Word Day to raise awareness about ending the use of the R word. We spread a message of kindness all day, but there was just one problem. Many students said the R word all day. But you might ask why? Why would a seemingly great plan for an amazing cause fail, especially with students at such a young age? Well, that has to do with the middle school mind. You see, when an organization like Best Buddies comes to a middle school, students often think, who are they to tell me what to do? I'll say whatever I want, whenever I want. And so unfortunately, the plan backfires. It's like the students being rebellious, cool, trying to show off to their friends. Either way, they were saying the R word all day, and our plan often backfired. I could see that from then, that day was a turning point. Our supporters on day one are still supporting us today, some even joining Best Buddies, but the students that were using degrading language to be cool or show off are still using that today. The problem is, when simply saying the R word didn't get enough, they would target members of Best Buddies themselves. They would say the R word in front of us, just to get on our nerves, because they knew and we knew that it was a trap. If we spoke up about what we knew was right and what we believed was right, we would be humiliated in front of our friends and peers. But if we stayed silent, we were letting them win, and we were letting the message get out that it was okay to discriminate against disabled people, which is not what we want to do. It seemed like a lost cause. Eventually, once members realized this, they lost hope. And unfortunately, eventually, I lost mine. We would lie low when we heard teasing, bullying, or any other because we didn't want to be humiliated. We wanted so hard to keep things professional, but at the same time, it was getting personal. And we attend this middle school. We need social status to survive. But at some point, it wasn't just lying low. I was watching as the world was cruel and degrading to our students with disabilities. They would get mean and nasty looks in the hallways, and they would be made fun of for speaking up in class, but I felt that there was nothing I could do. Every day and every night, it was a constant struggle with myself. I would ask myself, what do I believe in? What am I going to stand up for? My popularity or what I believe is right? Am I going to make a difference or am I going to stay silent? I wasn't supporting not using the R word, but I wasn't not supporting it either. I just was. I existed at this middle school with no purpose, no cause, and I felt really bad that I wasn't sticking up for others. But at some point I broke. I just changed. Something changed. Little did I know that it would be right in the middle of math class. I know. We were going over a homework in a group around 4 or 5, and in that group there were 2 best friends, always making jokes, always laughing. One of them gets something wrong, and the other one says, as a joke, "Oh my gosh, you're so autistic." I didn't know it at the time, but every time I was lying low, staying silent, it was eating away little by little at my morals. But I just knew in that moment, deep down, I couldn't afford to lose anymore. I had to speak up. I had to say something, but I couldn't risk being humiliated. Not again. I had no idea what to do. I broke out into a cold sweat. I was short-breathed, my heart was racing, and I made a quick, instinctual decision. And I overcame what was possibly the longest moment of my entire life, but I took a deep breath, and all I could say was, "Stop. You're not funny. You're making a stereotype, and you're saying that autistic people are stupid and can't learn. It's wrong, it's degrading, and you have to cut it out." To which he replied, "Calm down. It was just a joke." See, that was my limit. That was when I knew what I had to stand up for, and it wasn't my popularity. It wasn't my social status. It was what I knew was right to end ableism. I said, "You know what's not funny? That 60% of people with disabilities will have been bullied, that 84% will be unemployed, that 83% will be sexually assaulted in their lifetime, and they are 2 times more likely to live in poverty and 19% less likely to graduate. I don't find that very funny. I don't find that a joke." Of course he laughed. He made fun of this cause, and unfortunately, like many others, he's still using degrading language to this day. But the best part about those moments was that I was not angry or annoyed or frustrated. I was rejuvenated because I realized what I had to stand up for. I realized in those moments that we can't just wait and watch life fix itself. We have to change society and we have to end ableism. In order to fight this human rights fight, we have to fight it together. The only way that we can end ableism in our modern day world is by making a change. And the only way that we can make a change is with an open mind, an open heart, and an open door to inclusion. Thank you very much.